All right, we are live. Hi, everyone who is joining us today. I am Brooke. I'm the owner and creator of Homeschool Resource Co. And I have Anna Willis here with me from They Call Me Blessed and also Charlotte Mason Inspired. So I'm excited to have her on. We'll get her to chat with you in just a minute. But first, I want to remind you why you're here. So, if you have noticed during the month of October, we have been talking all about Charlotte Mason, everything that Charlotte Mason is, how to incorporate Charlotte Mason in your homeschool. And then we have a major collection that we have for you only for the month of October. Forgive my dog in the background. I forgot to even say what I usually say when I get on here, which is I'm a homeschool mom just like you. So if you see a kiddo run in the background or something crazy, it's just real life, normalizing real homes. As you can see, I don't know how close you can see, but there's dirty dishes on my counter because this is real life. We schooled this morning. So anyways, the Charlotte Mason collection is live on our website. It is 91% off of retail, and there's great, great things in there for you. Even if you're not a Charlotte Mason schooler, there's great nature studies, and there's a music class or music course from Music in Our Homeschool, and lots of great, amazing things in there for you to check out. And it's only until end of day Wednesday. That's November 1st. Yeah. So end of day Wednesday. So I'm excited to have you guys here. Use the chat button or option on wherever you are. I know we're streaming live on both Facebook and YouTube and on our website. So join us. Tell us where you're from. Ask all your questions to me and Anna as we go through this. And I'm going to kick it over to you. Anna, tell us about yourself and what you do.
Hey, Brooke, it's so good to be here. Hi, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here today. So I am the founder of theycallmeblast.org, and I am the co-host and co-owner of Charlotte Mason Inspired. We have our annual conference every year with the best of the Charlotte Mason speakers in North America. I am a homeschool mom, just like you guys. We are still doing school today. My kids are in their bedroom doing school right now. I'm in grad school, so not only I'm homeschooling, but I'm in grad school too, and I'm teaching at a Bible college in the evenings. Life is just crazy, but it's so rewarding. It's so good to do what God has called us to do and to do the best way that we can. I'm excited, Brooke, about this mini collection, the Charlotte Mason mini collection. I've been telling people about it. I've been posting on my Facebook every single day and just reminding people, do not miss this, because honestly, this collection is so well put together. The resources are phenomenal. You don't want to miss this. And I'm excited to talk to you a little bit more about a Charlotte Mason education today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anna uses the Charlotte Mason method in her own homeschool. She truly knows a lot about the method itself and has lots of experience with it. So tell us what you're going to talk about today in this webinar.
Okay, so this is all about the reaches of a Charlotte Mason education. You know, Brooke, I like to ask moms when I speak in conference, like, how does your homeschool taste like? And they're all looking at me like, what? So yeah, how does it taste like? Does it taste good? Is it delicious? Is it exciting for the kids? Do they want to keep eating, or they're like, yucky, I can't stand it. It's so bland, or there's no taste, or so, how does it taste like? And I want to propose that what I'm going to bring to you today are amazing spices and smells and tastes that will make your turn your homeschool, your blend homeschool routine into a feast that the kids are always excited about eating. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to cover all the reaches of this feast of a Charlotte Mason education. We're going to talk about enrichment studies. We're going to talk about literature. We're going to talk about poetry. We're going to talk about so many great things. And I'm going to teach you actually what it does to your kid's brain, which is something that I don't want you to miss. So make sure you guys are taking notes.
All right. Well, I'm going to hand it right over to you. I'm going to head to the background and you just do your thing. I'll be here in the comments. If you have any questions, concerns, anything going on, add that to the comments and I will pop in and ask Anna if she doesn't see them, or I'll just put them on the screen for her. So you go with it, Anna, and we'll be here watching.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Brooke. Hey, everybody. Okay, so welcome. This is our homeschool room behind me. Although I moved the table outside because the weather is just lovely. So we've been keeping our dining room table, homeschool table outside this past days, and it's so good. Anyways, I want to share my presentation with you. I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can. Make sure you do add your questions. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments. By the way, where are you guys, joining us from? Just let me know down in the comments. Are you familiar with Charlotte Mason? How long you been homeschooling? I would love to hear from you guys. And make sure you're following me on Facebook as well. Go to They Call Me Blast blog, and you'll find me there, and also Charlotte Mason Inspired. So as I said, my name is Anna Willis. I help homeschool moms ditch overwhelm and homeschool with joy. This is my mission. This is what I do every single day. Because hey, I was one of those overwhelmed homeschool moms ready to give up when a friend of mine brought me a book that taught me about Charlotte Mason education, and it changed everything. So I've been blogging about homeschooling for the past almost 8 years. I've been homeschooling for 11 years, almost 12 now. I am a passionate Bible teacher and Hebrew teacher as well. I have a BA in Biblical and Jewish Studies that I got from Israel College of the Bible, and I'm working on my grad degree right now. So I'm working on 2 masters, working on masters in Biblical Studies and a master's in Christian apologetics. So double duty right now. Actually, a master's in theology with a specialization in Christian apologetics. That's the second degree I'm working on right now. Anyways, I help moms just like you inside the homeschool sisterhood, which I'll tell you later more about it. But I work with hundreds of homeschool families on a daily basis. And I'm so blessed to welcome you to our community. So please make sure you're following me. Make sure that you're sending me a message. If anything that I speak about it today resonate with you, I would love to learn how this will impact you, how this spoke to your heart, and I would love to continue this conversation with you. So what is They Call Me Blast is a Christ Center and Charlotte Mason Inspired homeschool community for like-minded moms, actively encouraging and supporting one another on a daily basis. We do believe that the knowledge of God is the most important knowledge you ever pass on to your children. And if you're not a Christian, if you're not religious, don't worry. Everything I'm going to talk about today is still going to apply to your homeschool, and it's still going to be an amazing blessing to your homeschool. So stick around. Don't just turn off just because I'm a Christian. I'm always going to talk about it as a Christian because this is who we are. This is my identity, right? I can't separate it. But my goal is to help you to have a restful homeschool, a more joyful homeschool, and a beyond blessed life. So this is my family. This is what I call the Willis Faith and Life Academy. It was established in 2012, so 11 years, and it's going to be a little bit more, 12 years soon. But I have Hadassah. She's actually not grade 9. I need to correct that because we just started a new homeschool year. So Hadassah's grade 9, Benjamin's grade 10, Ariel is grade 7. I started homeschooling when Benjamin was 4 years old. And we all come to homeschooling for different reasons. I had a big one to start homeschooling. I'm so glad I got into homeschooling, and I can never look back. So before we move forward, I do have a free Charlotte Mason guide for you. So if you want to make sure, you got all the good things that I'm going to be talking about and some great links to resources I'll be sharing about, just make sure you scan the QR code. And let me know if the QR code doesn't work. Don't worry, I'll put a link on the comments for you. Anyway, so what will you learn in this workshop? Who was Charlotte Mason? What is her philosophy about it? And what is the science of relations? What is a living book? So many people asked me about that, and the benefits of a literature-rich curriculum. We're also going to talk about how to implement a Charlotte Mason-inspired education in a very practical way, and what is truly the aim of education. So Ms. Mason was an innovator in education who believed that living books and real life experience were the best forms of education. Not workbooks, not worksheets. She really believed that living books and real life experience will make a huge difference. And yet we do use some workbooks and worksheets, but she says if you use living books, it will capture their heart. And that's the core of a great living education. So her work included a feast of ideas to help children receive a well-rounded education. She believed that they needed to know a little bit about everything, not everything about everything, but a little bit about everything. And if we made it appealing enough, if we make it appealing enough to them, that they will continue to dig in for themselves, right? So Charlotte firmly believed that a child is a person and it must be educated, that we must educate that person, not just in his or her mind, but her also understand that their body, soul, spirit, and mind, right? Sometimes we feel that education is just a filling of a bucket and an empty bucket, but it's not. These children are created in the likeness and image of God. They are born with intelligence and creativity, and all we need to do is steer everything in the right direction. So let me just close this here. There we go. So her method emphasizes leaving books and hands-on learning to develop a love for learning and cultivate good habits. It's a gentle approach. Now, a lot of people think that Charlotte Mason mistakenly is a child-driven education, and it's not. It is true that we do, obviously, if your child desires to learn more about certain topics, we will add this to our homeschool. But this is not like they do whatever they want by themselves at all. This is actually a very through beautiful, put together way of teaching our children. And we are facilitators of their education. But truly, what we want is we want them to take ownership of their education. So, a Charlotte Mason education in a nutshell. This is Charlotte Mason's most famous quote. It says, education is an atmosphere, a discipline, a life. What does that mean? When Charlotte Mason talked about the discipline, or the atmosphere, sorry, she means the environment where the child is learning, the environment of your home. So, what is the atmosphere of your home when you're teaching your child? Is it peaceful? Is it joyful? Is it living, right? Is it something that is inviting? It is inspiring. So this is very important. The atmosphere, the environment that we create in our homes for learning means a lot and makes a huge difference. And by discipline, she specifically talk about the discipline of habits. And it's something that we're going to touch a little bit, but it's something that I talked a lot about it, especially inside the homeschool sisterhood. We work on habits every month with our children, and we use poetry, Bible verses, stories, all kinds of different things to teach our children about good habits and godly character. And life means living ideas, things that will continue to provoke them to think about it, to learn more, to dig more for themselves, right? So Charlotte Mason said that education is divine. She says this idea of all education springing from and resting upon our relationship to Almighty God. We do not merely give a religious education because that would seem to imply the possibility of some other education, a secular education, for example. But we hold that all education is divine, that every good gift of knowledge and insight comes from above, that the Lord, the Holy Spirit, is the supreme educator of mankind, and that the culmination of all education, which may at the same time be reached by a little child, is that personal knowledge of and intimacy with God, in which our being find its fullest perfection. I absolutely love this quote. We're not educating our children on our own. We're truly doing this in partnership with the Holy Spirit, which means so much to me. She also said that education starts with the knowledge of God. She said, of the three sorts of knowledge proper to a child, the knowledge of God, of man, and of the universe, the knowledge of God ranks first in importance. It is indispensable and most happy making. So, all knowledge all knowledges are good and they are important, but the knowledge of God is the most important one. Without the knowledge of God, there's no biblical worldview. She also says that education includes a feast of ideas. She says, in the nature of things, then the unspoken demand of children is for a wide and very varied curriculum. It is necessary that they should have some knowledge of the wide range of interests proper to them as human beings. And for no reason or convenience or time limitations may we curtail their proper curriculum. She's saying, hey, time should not be a problem because they should be having a little bit of everything. And let me tell you, my kids are always learning, and not always does this school time or homeschool time, right? Because life happens and we learn with all kinds of things, and they are intimate with a variety topics that we talk about it every day, of things that we watch, that we observe, that happen to us every day. So we should not curtail it. We should not cut short. And we should give them a wide and very varied curriculum in every possible way we can. It doesn't have to be in proper homeschool hours, right? So continue about an education including a feast of ideas. Mason said the mind feeds on ideas, and therefore children should have a generous curriculum. Again, she said give children a wide range of subjects. So let's talk about what Charlotte calls the science of relationships. She thinks and she says that everything is interrelated, and it's so true. Everything is interrelated. So let's understand the three knowledges, first of all, so we understand how they relate to each other. So, first of all, the knowledge of God comes from the Word of God, from the Bible, and then obviously comes from revelation of the Holy Spirit, and sometimes from things that we learn from other people that comes from the Word of God, right? But the Bible is the main source of the knowledge of God. When she talks about the knowledge of man, she means history, literature, morals, and economics, which we call citizenship in the Charlotte Mason education, composition, languages, like foreign languages. And the knowledge of the universe encompasses science, geography, mathematics, and physical development, like PE and handicrafts and those things. So she says education as a series of relationships formed by the learner as he develops intimacy with a wide range of subjects. So we know that a lot of those subjects are connected with each other. Like for us, it's impossible for us to study history without thinking about geography because we're always talking about a different place, right? So, and then normally morals and citizenship, economics, those things are attached as well to history and literature, and everything is connected. She also says that education is a discipline, and I mentioned the formation of habits to you guys. So this is what Miss Mason says about habits. She said, every day, every hour, the parents are either passively or actively forming those habits in their children, upon which, more than upon anything else, future character and conduct depend. So either you're passively or actively working on forming habits on your children, they are either developing good habits or bad habits. And no matter what, habits are being formed. So either we will put the intentional time and effort to build up good characters actively in their lives, or they will create bad habits or good ones too, right? On their own. But we need to be more intentional about the formation of habits in our children. She said, the mother who takes pains to endow her children with good habits secures for herself smooth and easy days. So listen, if you've done potty training before, you know that it is not easy, right? You have to be intentional. You need to be there. Accidents will happen. You have to persevere. But you know that once your child go from wearing a diaper to going to the potty is such a relief. Is the same thing Charlotte Mason is saying here. Hey, it's going to be painful. It's going to take your time. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to press on and persevere. But once the habit, a good habit is formed, then your days are going to be smooth and easy. And that's what all of us desire, don't we? She also said the formation of habits is education, and education is formation of habits. So she's saying formation of habits is just part of everything that we do every single day. It's training our children the way that they should go. It's training them to do what is right and what is proper and to be responsible. So here's some examples of habits that we work on, that Charlotte Mason tells us to work on. And we make those part of our homeschool training, our homeschool habit training. So we teach our children the habit of attention, obedience, truthfulness, self control, order, manners, patience, perfect execution, which simply means doing your best effort, regularity in devotionals, courtesy, thanksgiving, fortitude, and so many others. These are just 12 of 26 that we work on a regular basis, and we do 12 every year in the homeschool sisterhood. So we've been doing the homeschool sisterhood for 4 years now, so we have looked through some of those. But listen, how will your children be obedient if they don't know how to pay attention? How would they carry on an instruction if they are not obedient, if they don't know how to listen careful for the instruction, right? So all of these things are taught. We like I was naive as a young mom thinking that one day they were just going to wake up, they were going to make their beds, brush their teeth, pick up the towel from the floor, and be orderly and obedient and respectful and all of those things. And I was very frustrated. So I guess you also know what I'm talking about. And the formation of habits, the training of habits came into our homeschool and everything changed. Not that everything is perfect. We're still working on a lot of habits. And we always will continue to, but things have improved amazingly. So obviously, as everything that we do, it brings fruits and have consequences, right? So let's talk about the fruit of habit training. Charlotte Mason said, let children alone. Once you've done habit training with them, she said, let them alone. The education of habit is successful insofar as it enables the mother to let her children alone, not teasing them with perpetual commands and directions, a running fire of do and don't, but letting them go their own way and grow, having first secured that they will go the right way and grow to fruitful purpose. So, how wonderful it is. If you teach them right, you will see good purpose, good fruits in their lives. She also says the habits of the child produces the character of the man. So, you want them to have good habits and good character as grown-ups, then you have to start right now being intentional about the formation of habits. Charlotte Mason also, she pitied the fact that most kids were growing up without the habit of reading. And I see this now more than 150 years ago, 100 years ago, right? We see so many kids spending so much time in screens and computers and phones and whatever electronic devices, but we're not seeing as much children with the habit of reading good books, and that grieved her heart. She said the most common and the monstrous defect in the education of the day, and she said that over 100 years ago, she said, is that children fail to acquire the habit of reading. So one of the things that we've done in our home, as you can see here behind me, we have our own library that we put together. We do not have TVs in the house. We do have computers, and we try to use them wisely. I do turn off the internet for the whole house in the evenings. We do have control in the app that we can turn off the kids' access to internet from their computers. So and amazingly, not because we force them to, all of our kids have the habit of reading. They do love reading books. And every time we go someplace, they're carrying a book with them, even when we're going on vacations, which is a joy for me. And what are these things called living books that Shop the Mason talks about? So here's a great quote from Charlotte Mason. She said, "One more thing is of vital importance. Children must have books, living books. The best is not too good for them. Anything less than the best is not good enough." And I love that quote. "And if it is needful to exercise economy, let go everything that belongs to soft and luxurious living before letting go of the duty of supplying the books and the frequent changes of books which are necessary for the constant stimulation of the child's intellectual life." This is the screen that I tell every homeschool mom, take a screenshot right now, because when your husband said, "What, you're going to buy more books?" you can show them the reason why you're buying more books. Charlotte Mason said, "Okay, you let go of every soft and luxurious things before you let go of your books or buying books." It's just that it's a duty. You have a duty to supply the books and frequent change the books for your children because they're necessary. So, and we all homeschool moms love books, right? And there's no such a thing as enough books and enough bookcases. We have bookcases in every single room of this house. You're just seeing 3, 4 here, but I have 3 more in the living room. The girls have 2. My boy has 1. I have another one in my bedroom as well. I actually have 2 in my bedroom. We always needing to buy more bookshelves because there's always new books coming to the house and we have a hard time, parting from our favorite ones. So I love this little meme I found on the internet the other day. So Guru was saying, first we get a book, then we get another book, and then we say no more books, but then we see another book, so we get 2 more books. This is especially when we go into homeschool conferences. So what is a living book? A living book is an alternative to boring textbooks, boring, dry facts textbooks. So living books could be in fiction or nonfiction literature written by an author with a talent for bringing the story alive and engaging children's idea and imagination so they are able to better understand and retain the information they learn. So, for example, instead of reading a dry facts textbook that just give them the dates and the names, what we do is we use the living book. We use the story to teach our children about that historical fact. So, for example, if we're teaching our children about the Holocaust, we will read books such as Number the Stars or um, the Little Writers. Oh, there's so many. The Hiding Place. There's so many great books that we can use to read stories to our children that would teach them about a historic event. And what those books do is that it brings our children into the life of the characters. It put them in their shoes. It helps them to feel the same emotions, right? And it teaches them in a way that they never forget. So that's the difference between a living book and a textbook. And we do have wonderful curriculum nowadays that are written in a living book form. And it's wonderful. So if you see, for example, Apologia science books, they are written in a living form, in a living book form. They are a lot more engaging to the mind of our children. And it brings, it's how to go, spruce their curiosity more than a dry fact science book. And there's so many others. We even have like math curriculum that is written from a living book idea with stories to engage the children and teach them living math. There's so many great living books today. All right. So why teaching through stories? The children naturally love captivating stories. Is the way that humans learn. They have always learned like that for thousands of years. A good story captures our attention, transports us into the world of the characters. It helps us to experience similar emotional responses as the characters in the story. Stories are a crucial part of a child's development. Stories influence our behavior and even shape our culture. Stories teach by example in a way that children can easily and fully understand. And stories teach our children the habit of attention, which is a great way to teach them. So when you start telling a good story, every child will sit and listen, even if it doesn't happen overnight. Okay, let's say you just start reading stories to your children and they're still wiggling around. Let them wiggle around. There's no problem with that. Don't expect your kids to just sit still while you're listening to the story. That doesn't mean that they are not listening. That doesn't mean that they are not absorbing everything. If you have a child with, attention deficit disorder, or whatever it is, they are not going to be able to sit still, and to expect that of that child, it's nonsense. Let's just be honest with each other, right? So let them move around, keep their hands busy. If you need to read them a story, we do that in our house. They can journal, they can color, they can build with Lego, as long as they do it quietly. I don't mind if they're upside down on the sofa. So make sure your expectations of how your children will behave when you're reading are realistic. Okay. All right, so there are many benefits of a literature-rich curriculum. Engage the minds, increase focus and concentration, expands vocabulary, improves writing skills, increases analytical thinking skills, increases reading fluency, promotes love for learning, makes it easier to teach multiple children together, awakens children's imagination, and it helps children retain information. So again, another screen that I tell parents all the time, take a screenshot right now. That will remind you why you should read books to your kids, and do it as often as possible. So Charlotte Mason made many observations on readings. I'm going to kind of skip it. You can take a screenshot. We're not going to have time to read everything because we want to get to the nitty gritty of the practical side of a Charlotte Mason education. But I want to read this part to you. Did you know, and I'm very thankful to my friend Julie Ross for teaching me those things and allowing me to add this to my presentation. Read aloud connects neurons, releases oxytocin, it develops sequential reasoning, and increase cognitive functions. Guys, look at all the benefits of reading aloud to your children, right? Amazing reasons to read aloud to them. So how do we do this? How do we give our children a varied curriculum? How do we read books, find time to read books with our children and do those things? The secret is to keep your lessons short. Here's a great quote from Ann White from the Ambleside online website. She said a CM schedule would feature short lessons, 10 to 20 minutes per subject for the younger children, but longer for older ones, with an emphasis on excellent execution and focused attention. Whether that is in thinking through a challenging math problem, looking carefully at a painting and then describing it, copying just a few words neatly, or listening to a short Bible episode and telling it back. So it doesn't matter. Our lessons should be short, but here's what happened. Our kids have short attention spans. So when we keep the lesson short, they pay better attention. They do it better. And that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on a better execution and more focused attention. Keep it short, but you see that the quality of the lessons are going to be much better to your children. Don't bore them with long lessons. They are not going to pay attention. Their attention is going to start drifting away, and then you're going to lose them, and then it's not going to be productive at all. So keep your lessons very short. Copy work. So we're going to start with the practical elements of a Charlotte Mason education that really, really works in such a way. Most people ignore those things because they think like this is so simple, but don't, how do you call it? Don't overestimate the power of simpleness. So copy work is learning through imitation. So in order to practice handwriting, spelling, and grammar, Mason believed it was important to keep a notebook for copying down poetry, prose, scripture, and quotes daily. By copying over selections from fine literature into a notebook, a child learns grammar. They learn how to capitalize, how to punctuate, how to spell a word, as she carefully pays attention to the text being copied. My kids do copy work every single day as part of their language arts, and we use Fix It Grammar by IW, which is absolutely brilliant. Takes 10 minutes a day. So they do copy work, and with that they have to edit the grammar, they have to fix the grammar, they have to spell the words correctly, they have to pay attention. It works phenomenal in just 10 minutes a day, so I highly recommend that. We also use narration, a lot of narration in our homeschool. And what is narration? It's the simple art of telling back what you've just learned. So narration is a great way to ensure that children understand the information they are learning. It's the process of having the student repeat back in their own words what they've learned from a lesson or a book. Children narrate by nature. When we read great stories, they're more likely to remember the stories and enthusiastically retell it to others. Since they're little, they love telling a story, guys. So I have to do one thing. Okay, girls, I know she's desperately go chase this girl outside, so go take her quickly. My dog, my dog is obsessed with chasing, playing with squirrels. She loves playing with the squirrels. So she's desperate here, wanting to go outside, and she's tiny and she tries to climb the trees. It's really funny, but anyways, so the older the kids get, and they will develop better writing skills as well as they retell the stories. So that oral narration, it's actually gonna nail down the best skills for them for written narrations. It's just a simple, easy process of getting to writing. My son had a hard time starting to read because he had convergence insufficiency when he was 8. He couldn't put two sounds together. We had to work through that. Thank God. A year later, he had read 14 chapter books. He's a voracious reader. Today, he's 15 now. And it is amazing how he's writing. It just blows my mind. He hated writing. It took him like forever to get into writing. I just let the process of narration continue. We have a lot of discussions in our homeschool. And I didn't force writing on him. And now he writes pages and pages. He's been writing a 5,000 words article every week on military history that he's been sharing with his teens group. And it's absolutely mind blowing. So don't think that those gentle art of narration and copy work are not producing good fruits. It will blow your mind. So again, also narrations can include creative outlets such as painting and drawing for the little ones. So let them narrate, let them draw, let them go. How do you call it? Doodle. That's a way of narrating as well. So this is a quote from Charlotte Mason on narration. She said, narration is an art like poetry making or painting because it is there in every child's mind waiting to be discovered, and it is not the result of any process of disciplinary education. A creative fiat calls forth, let him narrate, and the child narrates fluently, copiously, and in orderly sequence with fit and graphic details with just a choice of words without verbosity or tautology, so soon as he can speak with ease. This amazing gift with which normal children are born is allowed to lie fallow in their education. So let them tell stories. Always ask them, so what do you think? Let them talk and don't interrupt them. And then nature studies. Nature studies such a natural way to learn science and to observe God's creation. So Charlotte Mason said, let them once get in touch with nature, and a habit is formed which will be a source of delight and habit through life. I love that my kids love spending time in our backyard. We have a hammock, we have a swing for them, and they just like to go and sit there and swing. And and they love going to nature studies. They grew up in Canada where we were able to explore so many beautiful forests and lakes and go on hikes and even now that we are in Florida, they still love going out in nature, whatever chance they have. So it's a habit, right? Ms. Mason had a strong belief that children should explore God's creation and spend time outdoors to develop a better education. She encouraged them to keep nature journals in order to discover and identify plants and wildlife. She also encouraged writing poetry, detailed descriptions, and even notes about the weather in these journals. So journaling, it's a great way to capture everything that you're observing in nature. Picture study. This has to be one of my favorite things to do, and there's so many good benefits to it. Wait until you see this. Art appreciation was another important aspect of Ms. Mason program. Her recommendation was to work with one artist at a time for a few days and allow the student to look at the painting, then take it away and have them narrate back from memory what they saw. Then continue this process for several days with the same painting and watch how the student's understanding expands as they continue to look at it and discuss it. So, sometimes we're like, oh, picture study. This, like, why should I do this in my I homeschool? Well, there's so many benefits. Well, remember, we're working on the habit of attention and observation, and we're teaching our children to pay attention to details, and we're giving them an opportunity to focus on something. And this is so important. Even if your kids have ADD, ADHD, picture study works wonders in their brain, and they need this so badly. We need this so badly. We need to learn to focus. So I love doing this when I'm doing a homeschool conference. I normally have this on a big screen, and I have actually the parents looking for details on the picture and telling me what they see and what they believe it's happening in the picture, and we have a blast together. So this is one example. It's a beautiful painting from a Dutch painter. He used to paint everyday work in life scenes. And this is called The Dance Couple. And I love when they start looking at all the details, the eggshells on the floor, and the birds on the cage on the top, and the pinnacle of the church on the back, and the food on the table, all of those things. And it's just so neat. And the kids actually, they look at picture study as a game. Who can find the most things, right? So it makes it fun and competitive for the kids as well. But did you know, the more time you spend analyzing a piece of art, sorry for my misspelling there, a piece of art, the more you were able to stimulate both conscious and unconscious brain functions, which can increase your analytical and problem solving skills. Wow. Did you know that? It's absolutely mind blowing. But this is what happened when you're doing 5 minutes a day of picture study. Sometimes you don't even need 5 minutes, you just need 2, 3 minutes. And then obviously Miss Mason loved Shakespeare and poetry. She said that the work of Shakespeare helps to develop language arts through poetry. Miss Mason wanted the students to have wonderful use of words and vocabulary, and believe that poetry is the best of literature. She introduced students to poetry through Shakespeare by reading plays, then reading specific lines from the play in Shakespeare's words, and asking students to narrate back in their own words what they believe Shakespeare was saying. And you don't have to just use Shakespeare for that. They are phenomenal poets, and that that the kids can read their amazing work and recite from and read from and narrate from. Again, did you know, listening to poetry lights up the emotional centers of the brain and helps with complex reasoning? If I had not learned this, I would be completely clueless about the effects of poetry in my brain. So all of those things that normally we just push it aside are actually promoting a lot of connections in your children's brains that are very important for their development. So let's talk about composer studies, because I can't leave composers out. Ms. Mason said, it's a pity that we like our music as our pictures and our poetry mixed so that there are few opportunities of going through, as a listener, a course of the works of a single composer. Let young people study as far as possible under one master until they have received some of this teaching and know its style. So Miss Mason said, and that goes for habit training as well. She said, okay, so pick a habit, pick a composer, pick a painter, and work through that specific topic, that specific composer or painter for the next 6 to 8 weeks, until the kids know everything about it. Don't change it. Don't change it. And that works so well. Again, there's so many benefits to adding music into our homeschool, and the study of the life of the composers and their work is part of it. Did you know listening to good music increase dopamine, decrease blood pressure, and improves memory? Again, those are health benefits that come simply through composer studies. And don't mind dogs and kids coming behind me. This is the house of a homeschool family. All right. So there are 10 benefits of listening to classical music. You can take a screenshot. I'm not going to go through it, but they are absolutely amazing. And classical music is so good for your children. And even to set that atmosphere in your home in the morning before you start homeschooling, or in the afternoon, music is so good to our brain and to our soul. All right. So we're coming to the end. That's it. We talked about practical ways of bringing Charlotte Mason education into our homeschool. We talked about some of there are many principles. There are many good things about a Charlotte Mason education. I brought just some of the most important ones to you guys and how important it is to read to them and do those enrichment studies in your homeschool and the formation of habit and the knowledge of God. The importance of giving them a variety of topics to learn and this wide curriculum and leaving books, read leaving books with your children. But what's the goal of a Charlotte Mason education? What is the goal of education in general? Well, Charlotte Mason said this way. She said, our aim in education is to give a full life. We owe it to them to initiate an immense number of interests. Life should be all living and not merely a tedious passing of time. Not all doing or all feeling or all thinking. The strain would be too great, but all living. That is to say, we should be in touch wherever we go, whatever we hear, whatever we see, with some manner of vital interest. I love this quote. So our aim is to give our children a full life, is to put them in contact with all things, as many things as possible that they can learn about and they can learn from and make the connections. So I want to invite you guys to check out Charlotte Mason Inspire. We host an online homeschool conference every single year, as I said, with the top speakers in the Charlotte Mason niche. And those conferences are available for you all, like it's lifetime access. Anytime during the year, you can buy one of our conferences and you can start watching those conferences. The workshops are phenomenal. It is life changing, it's life giving. If you need a fresh a breath air into your homeschool, if you need more life into your homeschool, more joy, more rest, then go to charlottemasoninspired.com and go and buy our last conference or all the conference. We have bundles as well. Start watching those workshops. Watch one a week. You don't have to watch it every day. Watch one a week and then implement that in your homeschool. It's truly amazing. I know you're really going to love it. And if you want to do this as part of our community who is implementing all of those things and taking very little time from you, we have the Homeschool Sisterhood that I founded 4 years ago. We have served hundreds of homeschool families. We're still serving hundreds of homeschool families. We love adding beauty, truth, and wonders into your homeschool days. So, as I said, we're Christ-centered community. We're Charlotte Mason inspired. We do habit training with the kids. We bring you master classes, online co-ops. We have Friday feasts where they learn about famous composers and famous poets and famous artists in nature studies, in habit training. We offer Bible studies for the kids, the teens, book clubs for the teens and the kids, and for the moms as well. We have apologetics co-op, all of that for $29.99 a month, which is a steal. It's the best education you can give to your children. And by the way, it's not going to require anything from you. The kids get together for their classes, so you can use just an hour a week or 2 or 3 hours a week for them to participate in the classes. You pick and choose the ones that you want to participate. You do not have to do everything at all. And some moms are in the Homeschool Sisterhood just to actually fill their cups. So if this is you, come on board. We will love to fill your cup. We'll love to encourage you and to equip you. So yes, go to the homeschoolsisterhood.com and you're going to find more information. And by the way, if you buy the mini collection, the Charlotte Mason mini collection, you will get 3 months completely free, no strings attached. You don't even have to put your credit card there. So make sure you are getting the bundle, because this alone is worth like almost $90. It's a gift to you simply for being here and for buying the bundle, the Charlotte Mason mini collection. So Brooke, I'm done. If you want to join me again, And go ahead and let's connect, you guys. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. We have a podcast that is Charlotte Mason inspired. So make sure you find us on iTunes and Spotify, all over the place. You can go to my blog or you can go to Charlotte Mason inspired website for more. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a blessing.
Absolutely. So I think Anna covered everything, even her product inside the collection and everything going on. I noticed some people you had as your speakers are some of the same people that we have inside of this collection as well, even some of our sponsors. So if you are interested in that, check those things out. And then we'll be back Wednesday. Right here with Anna on Wednesday. Let's see. What are we talking about on Wednesday?
We're talking about actually scheduling the feast. So if you want to know on the practical level, how do we do this? Like, what does your day look like? You know, how long do you homeschool? This is my most practical webinar. I absolutely love teaching it. It's all about scheduling. It's all about making the priorities in the right, putting the priorities in the right place. But it's very practical. It's you're gonna love it. It's really, really good. Yes, I agree with you, Jessica. Narnia is one of our favorite series. We have many others. We have many great family read alouds. We just finished The Giant Killer in the Homeschool Sisterhood this week, and we're starting Alliance to Guard Us next week. So if you join the Homeschool Sisterhood, there's always family read aloud book clubs going on. So you can read aloud with the kids, and then they come together on Thursday afternoon for discussion with us. And we love we love our discussions. We love our narrations. We love teaching them about the backgrounds of the story, the places where the story takes part. And it's just a joy. So I love to have you guys there.
Absolutely. So we will be back Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, if you have any questions about any of those things, be sure to email us or comment on the blog post that includes the information for you to sign up on Wednesday. And we will be sure to answer those things for you on our Wednesday webinar. So see you guys Wednesday.
See you guys Wednesday. Make sure you follow me. Bye, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.